Hi everyone, Jus4SweetZ here. So I am going to show you how to make this baby shower baby bump cake. I will attach the link below in the description box on the video on how to actually make this cake, because I did make a video in the past, and then how to assemble it, and then we're going to go from that step now. So what we are doing now is we're going to cover the cake with fondant, and here is our pink fondant that we made in another video, and we're going to roll it out so that we can cover our cake, and that is going to be the dress. So you want to make sure you have powdered sugar down on a clean surface and your rolling pin, and you don't want to, I'm going to move some of this stuff, you don't want to overwork it. Okay, but you want to get it rolled out. You don't want it too thin, but you don't want it too thick. So I don't know what the exact thickness is. You don't want to be able to see through it, I know that. So, you know, I'd say probably about 1/4 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch thick. And that way, that gives you some room to actually stretch it out over that bump and hope that you don't get any cracks with that. Now, the more you work your fondant, the more likely you are to have cracks. So I'm just going to keep rolling this out, and I kind of want it in a rectangular pattern because that's kind of how it goes over the top. Okay, and I think this one's going to be the bottom. So that can be a little bit thinner at the bottom because we'll actually make some ruffles on the dress. So just keep rolling and just go in one direction, really. Okay, so I think that's probably pretty good. It's not too thick. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay. Can't see through it. Got a couple bubbles, but we'll work those out. You also are going to need a smoothing tool. If I can find mine, we might be in trouble here. Ah, here it is. Okay. So you want this kind of smoothing tool, just like this. You can get this at the craft store or a cake decorating supply place. All right, and how you get this onto the rolling pin, I want to make sure you guys can see this, so let me back it up because I kind of rolled it out. You can see that it's kind of in this rectangular pattern or so. And what you want to do, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to lay this on. So I'm going to roll it from this is going to be the bottom of the dress. So I'm actually going to start the roll it around your rolling pin, just like so, very gently. And then what you want to do, get this to where you can see it. You're going to lay that on there the opposite direction because I want this to be the top, and remember that the bottom is underneath. Okay, so you're going to want to lay that on there. Now, what you're going to do is we're going to kind of stretch it. That's why we don't do it too thin. And slowly stretch it. Here's our baby foot. I showed you how to make that in another video. You want to take that fondant and just kind of lightly roll your hand down it. Now we got a crack right there, which is not good. That just means it's too thin right there. I will cover that up with some of the animal print that I'm doing. And down towards the bottom, oh, and then I just put a dent in my fondant. Down towards the bottom, it can be a little wrinkly because that is actually going to be ruffles, so we don't have to worry about that too much. I may not have rolled it out quite enough. I'm just kind of going through, but you want to kind of just lightly take your hand over it and just kind of curve it in. You don't want to pull too hard, so I'm going to kind of lightly stretch in, make the divot right there, and accentuate where the top half is. Okay, and then this is all going to be the ruffles down here, and I'm actually probably going to add a few little ruffles to it. I do have some cracks over here, so I'm going to have to make some ruffles and add them, but I'll get it to work. All right, so I'm not really going to trim any of this off because this is all part of the dress. I might even take this and roll it out just a tad from there, and then I can kind of play with it a little bit. But it pretty much goes right into shape. So then what you want to do is you want to take your smoother and you want to smooth all the edges. Now you have to make sure that you have your icing as smooth as possible and that the cake is somewhat frozen before you start this technique. It works a lot better if you have a cold cake. And then I go around it. Remember, I have this on the other side as well. Kind of got the fondant too thin right there. That's what happens. So I will cover that up and make some ruffles to go around it. And I'm not going to really smooth into that too much. I'll go around the edges here. I want to get in there and smooth around that foot so you can see the toes and all the cuteness that this little foot brings. Alright. Till they turn about 15, 16, and then you're like, oh my goodness sakes, what happened to them? Just playing. Kind of. Alright, so go around that foot because you really want that foot to accentuate out of the dress. Just gently go around it because we do not want to rip the fondant up by the foot. We just really want that foot to kind of come out of the dress like the baby's kicking out. All right, and kind of go down in there. Okay. And I just kind of take the corner, I hope you can see this, take the corner of this and push in, just like so, and go around the edges. And I'm definitely going to have to make some ruffles to fix my sides here. I don't usually have this issue. I usually do a pretty clean piece of fondant, so I don't know if I overworked my fondant or what I did, but we're going to make this work because I don't want to tear all this off. Okay, so then what you want to do is have a pizza cutter or some kind of cutting tool, and I'm going to use a riveted edge on mine. I have a pastry wheel cutter here. I have a little bit showing, and I'm just going to go along my edge, not all the way under. This is really hard for me to do in my kitchen island. But you kind of just tear that off. And I'm going around the edge this way. Not too close, but not too far away. Kind of go in if you want it to be a little V'd. You can get in there and push that. And all I'm doing this on is a cake board. I actually am using some that I already had at the house, and they're silver. And there are two smaller ones, and I just kind of taped them, I taped them from the back with a clear tape together so that I didn't have to go buy new boards. This is actually for a girl I work with. She's throwing a baby shower for somebody. All right, don't throw that fondant out. You're going to want to use that for our ruffles. We're going to go around this way. I'm not going to, I'll ruffle it down here with the cutter, but then this way I'm going to kind of just do a straight cut. Just like so. Okay, and then you just take that little smoother and you kind of push that in a little bit. And do the same thing on the other side. I know you can't see this side, but I'm doing exactly the same thing. Cut it out. Okay, use our smoother, and we're going to smooth that in. And now we've got the base of the cake done. Don't worry about the powdered sugar all over. You clean it all up at the end, so don't stress about that. Just go along, tuck those edges in, make sure they're in there good. Tuck them under the cake if you want to. You don't want to push your rivet up too much. But there you go. So you've got that part of it done already. You've got your foot shaped around. You can see the little toes and the foot coming out. Let me get you a little bit closer there. Well, not too close. But there it is. And then we'll go on to decorating. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and I've got a ruffle. I just kind of created just something kind of flowy around the edges, and it's going to look so much different when we're all done, but I kind of crinkled everything up so that it looks like we have ruffles going all the way around the dress. And I'll show you some techniques later that, I mean, I'm not a professional, but I sure play, and that's about what I do, so I like to share that with you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the giraffe print. So I have rolled out some chocolate fondant that I mixed with a little bit of white fondant to lighten it up a little bit. And all we want to really do is make some squares, just like this. Make squares all different directions. And they don't have to be perfect. And as you cut these, some are bigger, some are smaller. And all you want to do is you're going to have a little cup of water next to you, and this is how you get these to stick on the cake. You dip your hand in the water, and I'm going to actually try to cover some of where my fondant was thin, and that's how you attach it, and it kind of dries on there. So you just start taking your squares that you've cut, put a little bit of water on the back, and kind of just start putting them where you want them on the dress. And this is going to actually make our giraffe print. It's going to be fun. So you just go like that, and you can see, you kind of put them next to each other. I actually have an image on my phone that I'm kind of looking at to compare a little bit to make sure it's looking the way I want it to. And you just place those on there just like you want them. Another square here. And this fondant that I rolled out is a little bit thinner than the dress itself, but not as thin as the ruffle. So the ruffle will have to be another video, but I just wanted to kind of give you a general concept here of what we're doing to make this giraffe print. And you just cut out these little diagonal square shapes and kind of just place them on there. So I'm going to finish doing that, and then we'll come back. I want to kind of show you what that looks like. It's coming along. So I'll come back and I'll show you how we do the top. We're going to do that with Cheetah Print. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so we're back to do the leopard print on the top. I put a ruffle along to separate the two, and I've got the giraffe print all done. I'm trying to match it kind of to these because these are the cupcake liners that we're using that go with the cupcakes that go with this cake. The only difference is that we're going to do brown instead of black on the outside. So I took the pink that we colored our fondant with, and I have it in a container. And basically all you want to do is go along the top with your paintbrush, and we're just going to kind of make kind of dots, not really like even ones, but just kind of rub it on there, because we're going to do the black around it. So put them wherever you want it to be. And I'm just going to keep going with the pink. This is going to be a really fun cake. I love these colors together, brown and pink. Obviously, the person who ordered this is having a girl. So we're just going along the top of the cake. All right, so then what you want to do is you're going to wash off your paintbrush. And this is my cooking paintbrush, not a painting paintbrush, obviously. And we have some brown, and my brown actually kind of dried up, so I had to wet it down a tad. So hopefully this works for me. I hate when they do this. I don't have a backup, so basically I'm going to put the brown on there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go around and almost completely encircle the dot in. And it doesn't have to be the same. Just like so. So we're just going around. And this is basically making our cheetah print. You can see the design starting to come out. So just go around to all your edges of the dots And just do like almost an enclosed circle, but not completely closed up. Just like that. All right, so we're going to keep doing that. I'm going to let this dry. And that kind of, you can see, kind of matches our pattern that we've got going. It's really not hard, it's just time consuming. And I'll finish this off the camera, but I want to show you what I have to go in the center, which is going to look really pretty. No, Case. Get your hand out of there, please. Okay. So what we're going to do is I have this really cute, just have to get all the ones that are around the center here, sorry. Casey, honey. All right, so we've got those going. Okay, and then we're going to let those dry, and I'm going to finish this off camera, but I keep dropping my paintbrush. This is going to irritate me. Okay. I have a really cute little flower that I got at the craft store, and I put a toothpick on the end of it, and that is going to be the decoration in the center of our cake. So I put that right down in there, and I put it on a toothpick so it's easy for them to pull out and nobody eats it. And there you go. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we're almost done. I've got all the leopard print on the top and the bottom. And what you want to do now is I have a hand steamer that I have plugged in. I like to make my cakes look shiny. And I have some edible glitter, aka disco dust. And I like to put some glitter on these. People love the edible glitter, and I have my glitter brush. And I just kind of go along the dress with the glitter. And I've cleaned the board up a little bit, but not completely. Okay, so my tape cut out on me, and what I did is I applied my disco dust edible glitter with my little brush all over the cake because they really like it glittery. And you can see that we did the leopard print on the top, and then I finished it with some leopard print at the bottom. I have my hand steamer here, and I usually steam my cakes, and it helps get some of that powdered sugar look off of there. You can see it starts giving it like a really glossy, pretty look. Now you don't want to over steam it because then you're going to make things run. So I just lightly go over it with my steamer. And this also keeps the cake looking nice and shiny when they get it tomorrow, instead of like a matte finish. So you just go over the top of it with your steamer. If you don't have a steamer, you don't have to do this. This step isn't necessary. This is just something that I like to do with my cakes. It helps also kind of get out some of those flaws that might be in there. You see this done a lot on TV. I watch a lot of cake shows. I watch a lot of cooking shows, period. And then it also helps set that glitter in there, set those ruffles, and get everything looking gorgeous. Get little flaws in there. But don't let it get too close because, like I said, you don't want to make your paint run from where we... Here's our little foot. All right. And kind of just make sure you get everything. I can always tell because there's always some residue of powdered sugar on my cake. Whoop, I'm sorry, guys. Might have to try to cut that out of the video. All right. So we just keep doing this. All right, and we've got a nice, shiny, beautiful baby cake. And I'll clean this board off, and I'll just take a picture and put it at the end of my video here. But I think it turned out overall pretty good. I'm glad that I finally got to show you guys how to do this. And we'll get to ruffles another day. I'm not very good at them, so I need to perfect them a little bit more before I try to teach people how to do them. So I just kind of wing it. But there we go. It's all steamed. It looks gorgeous. It's going to go out in the refrigerator until tomorrow, and I'm going to work on those cupcakes to finish this order off. But here it is. Here's our beautiful, let me see if I can get this camera out. There's our beautiful baby shower cake. The baby bump cake with the foot coming out. It turned out super cute. You can see all the different designs and decorations that we did. And I showed you how to do almost the entire thing. Just use your imagination and have fun with it. I have a bunch of different baby shower cakes, and I'll try to put those on some of my videos so you can see them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box. And I hope you subscribe to my channel. We don't just do cakes. In fact, I don't do a whole lot of them. But every now and then we do some cake recipes. And we do a lot of different fun ideas. So give me a thumbs up, please. And subscribe to the channel. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, next video, God bless everyone.